Good evening. My name is Rick Zbur. I'm president of the California League of Conservation Voters, and it's so exciting to be here with you all tonight, just 2 days after California's primary election, where we saw so many incredible environmental leaders get past their first big hurdle. Tonight we pause to say thank you for helping CLCV, and tomorrow we begin the sprint to November, making sure we elect the best leaders for clean air and water, clean energy, and healthy, prosperous communities for our families. I want to congratulate and thank Vien and the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. It's been amazing to have a progressive business partner on so many of the important issues to protect climate and have smart transit and housing solutions, and really want to thank the fact that we've got such a progressive partner in the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. Now I have, it's my pleasure, and I have one of the, really one of the best roles tonight in being able to introduce someone who, as we know, needs no introduction, Dolores Huerta. As you know, Dolores is a legendary labor and civil rights and social justice leader, and most important of all, a visionary who sees the way that all of our movements for social, economic, and environmental justice intersect and strengthen each other. Her work has always been about lifting up the least empowered members of our society: farm workers, children, undocumented immigrants, people living in poverty, women, and gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. One of the things I admire the most is her broad view of how fairness and social justice are the common thread through all of our progressive movements for change, and that when we discover and take advantage of those intersections, we achieve more power to improve individual people's lives. Dolores understands that improving the lives of people on the margins of our society is the goal of all of our movements. We have the same aim from different perspectives: to build power for those whose voices are not heard. And that's why it's no surprise that Dolores, who has spent her life advocating for workers, for women, for immigrants, for children, for strong labor unions, and for LGBT rights, is also an environmental champion. Clean air, clean water, and clean neighborhoods and workplaces are fundamental to the quality of life of all people she has dedicated her life fighting for. Her lifelong journey of working to correct injustice began when she was a teacher. It broke her heart to see her students come to school hungry and without adequate books and clothes. While serving in the leadership of the Stockton Community Service Organization, Dolores founded the Agricultural Workers Association, set up voter registration drives, and pressed local governments for community improvements. She is the co-founder with Cesar Chavez of the National Farm Workers Association, which later became the United Farm Workers, and was also she was also instrumental in the enactment of California's landmark Agricultural Labor Relations Act of 1975, which established the farm workers' rights to collective bargaining. From the beginning, she made it clear that the farm workers movement was not only about civil and economic rights, but also about environmental justice, and in her words, maintaining the vital link between humans and nature. Dolores continues to work tirelessly developing the leaders of tomorrow and advocating for the working poor, for women, for children. As president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, she travels across the country engaging in campaigns, working for legislation to support equality and defend civil rights, and speaking for students about social justice and public policy. President Obama presented Dolores with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. She has been recognized by so many organizations, I can't name them all, and now it's CLCV's term. And it's my privilege and honor to have known her in my capacity with my other organizations. She serves on our board. She is always there. She marches in our parades. She provides me with wise advice. She is someone who fights with all her heart for the things that she believes in. And she's a person that has a heart, and that heart is one of strength and of courage and of kindness and of compassion. And so it's a great honor to present our Environmental Leadership Award to my friend, Dolores Huerta.
Thank you very much, Rick. And please, let's give Rick Zbur a really great applause because, you know, Equality California, which I am fortunate to be on the board, has passed so many pieces of legislation to protect the rights of our LGBT community. And as you know, in many places we're having this huge fight about the whole transgender issue, where transgender students especially can use the bathrooms of their choice. I know down there in Bakersfield, and I'll talk about that, we're having a huge fight with our current high school district right now because they just don't want to follow the law, okay? So, you know, Equality California has done such a great job. Please, let's give Rick Zbur a great big applause for all of the work that Equality California is doing. Thank you. And as Vien said earlier, you know, we have to talk about the other California, and that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the Central Valley, Bakersfield, oil country, you know how that is. And just this last week, our temperatures went up to 106 degrees. I mean, that was so rare. I think there's only been one time that the temperatures went up that high in Bakersfield, California. And usually we don't get those temperatures until July or August, and now they're happening in June. So that really shows you the big threat that we have of global warming. And Bakersfield, in addition to being kind of backwards on LGBT issues, but you know, we also have the worst quality, air quality, in the whole United States of America. It's worse in Chicago, worse in Los Angeles, worse than any other place. And the air quality issues, of course, affect children especially. It affects their health issues, their intellectual capacities, etc. And I don't have to tell you where they stand on fracking, right? You can just imagine on that. And you know, when we think about the environmental issues that we have in our world, there are so many of them. You know, when we talk, I talk about fracking, you talk about the plastic bags, you talk about pesticides, something that when I was with United Farm Workers, we were dealing with, and we were very fortunate. We were able to ban DDT, parathion, Dinoseb, et cetera. We called it Dirty Dozen. Didn't do much good because you know what? They keep inventing new ones, right? And I know that here we're talking about solutions. And one of the solutions that we do have, I think, for the issue of what we call economic poisons, pesticides, fungicides, et cetera, is to kind of move all of that into the Department of Health. Take it out of EPA, take it out of agriculture, okay, and put it into Department of Health, because this is where it should be, because we know that the agricultural industry still loses a certain amount of their crops to pests, right? And they're not catching up. So this is one solution we can think about. And as I said, I know we have so many layers of environmental issues that we have to work on that it's kind of hard to say how can we do all of these at once. But luckily, we have many environmental organizations that are working on different aspects. I was very fortunate to be able to be in Washington, and was helpful, I think, in being able to defeat the bill that they had to prevent GMO labeling, right? We killed it at the last minute in the Senate of the United States of America. So that was really awesome that we were able to do that. And when you talk about GMO, labeling, we could even do that. Most people say, what? What's that about? And we know that it was defeated in California. It was defeated in Oregon. So again, on our bucket list of environmental issues that we have to deal with, that's one of them that we have on the list. But when we think about getting our goals and saving our planet, we know that we have to, of course, affect the policies. And of course, the way we affect the policies is by the people that we elect to office. And I think that most of us in the room are aware, but I'm going to mention it anyway, that Chevron, and I'm going to mention this other company that we say, really? Airbnb, are really recruiting Democrats that are conservative because they figure that they've given up on the Republican Party. I know there's probably some Republicans in the room, okay? And I'm sure that the Republicans that are here are pro-environment or they wouldn't be here. And so the reason I mention that is because we really have to start in between now and November. We have that opportunity to make sure that the people that we support, raise money for, go out there and get out the vote for, are going to be candidates that are true blue when it comes to environmental issues. True blue when it comes to environmental issues. And the reason that they're going to try to recruit conservative, quote unquote, Democrats is because they feel that Republicans really don't have that much more power in the legislature in California. And so they're going to try to get nice looking, attractive, articulate Democrats that will vote with them. And we saw that happen in the last legislature with AB 350, when some of the people that we worked to get elected, thank you out there, Kevin De Leon's, man, right back there, okay? And those folks that voted against AB 350, we need to take them to task. And I would suggest that we cannot let them get away with it. And I have to tell you, with our own representative, Rudy Salas, who happens to be a Latino, whose family, his grandmother was on the great boycott. They were strikers for the farm workers, and he voted against the bill. We have already met with him and said, you know what? You either shape up or we're going to run somebody against you, okay? So he knows that. He's gotten the message. So, we've got to really, really be aggressive in order to be able to straighten people out. And the gentleman who taught Cesar and myself, Cesar Chavez and myself, how to organize, he gave us one important lesson, which I know most of you in this room know this, but he always said, when it comes to politicians, just remind them that they work for us, okay? That we pay their salary. So we never have to bow down, kowtow to any politician. We just have to remind them of what their job is and what they need to do. And so we have some work to do between now and November, and we've got to let these folks know that they have to care about Mother Earth. They have to care about our planet just like we do. The other thing is, when we talk about the other California and the work, and thank you, Rick, for talking about our grassroots organizing work, we work out there with poor people. And remember this, that the other California, we are the ones that really get the worst of the environmental degradation, whether it's with toxic dumps, again, I talked about the air quality, the pesticides, and when we talk about pesticides, it's not just on the food. It drifts into the places where people live. And farm workers have the highest cancer rate of any group in the United States. And as you all know, that we in the United States have the highest cancer rate of any country in the world because of the poisons on our food. So, we have to continue doing that work. And one other thing I'm going to mention, and this is going to make some people uncomfortable, but we have the other California in San Francisco. It's called the Mission District, where thousands of people, Latinos mostly, who were born here in the Mission, have been pushed out of the Mission, that have been gentrified out of the Mission District. And sad, racism is always a part of this, okay? And let's check ourselves on this, okay? We know we have to eliminate racism because it's a fabric of our country, unfortunately. It permeates. And we've seen it now visibly in the candidacy of the Republican candidate for president. You know, and I was talking to some high school students, and I was saying, you know, sometimes this racism it's always been here, but now it's like a boil that gets red and it gets ugly. And one of the high school kids said, yeah, like Donald Trump. I said, yeah, that's right. Yeah. But now I think that because it has become so visible now, that I think it's kind of a call to action, so that we have to address all organizations, all institutions, to say, okay, ya basta, we've had enough. It's time for everybody to step in and say, we have to get rid of the racism in our society. We have to get rid of the racism in our society. Because it ultimately costs human lives. It costs human lives. And I don't know if you know about this, but there was a young man born in San Francisco. His family had been for 4 generations, and he was killed because some of the new people that came into the San Francisco area asked the police to come and kill him. And they did. You know, shooting him multiple times. They didn't know who he was. They thought he must be some illegal alien or somebody like that. And this is what, you know, racism, how it manifests itself. So I just call upon all of you to think, when we talk about the environment, think about people are part of the environment. They are part of the environment. And we shouldn't just say ethnic cleansing. That is not a good environmental policy. You know, that is not a good environmental policy. And so, you know, I want to thank all of you for being here. With my foundation, we do grassroots organizing, and part of that grassroots organizing is to educate people, to make them understand how important it is for them to participate, because we know that a lot of our environmental issues that we have, some of it we can control by human behavior, and to ask them to participate in the environmental movement. And I just want to say, you know, I am 86 years old, okay, everybody? And I was very lucky to be part of the civil rights movement back in the 60s. And I have to tell you that this is so exciting. This is so exciting because this environmental movement that we have right now is very similar to what we were doing back in the 60s with the civil rights movement. So you should all feel very good about this, okay? You should all feel very, very good about this, and to think about the contribution that you're making. And as Rick said before when he spoke, and I'm going to repeat his words, but you know, we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. And I was very happy to see that the California Labor Federation was part of the sponsors of tonight's program. And we have Rick here, the president of Equality California. Yes, we've got to get the women's organizations here that talk, and we all have to work together to make sure, hey, us women, keep our reproductive rights, okay? Okay, don't forget about that. People forget about the war on women that's going on right now in the state, you know? So the thing is the immigrant rights movement, right? All of us can come together, you know, bringing and weaving our movements together, always partnering with each other, because you know what? We are the majority. We are the majority. And, but we've got to, you know, work together in coalition. You know, please support us on women's rights, okay? On labor rights, on immigrants' rights, yes, LGBTQ rights, you know, and we will all work together to make sure that we win and that we will not have the haters, okay? We will, we will not have the haters win because we can make it happen, but we know we've got to work very, very hard. So I want to just have you join me, and before I do that, our organization, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, we're about, I guess, about 12 years old now. I started this foundation after I left the farm workers movement, and I got a gift from a $100,000 gift from the Puffin Foundation, so I put it into an escrow account. I put it into an escrow account, and started the Dolores Huerta Foundation for grassroots organizing. And we want to spread it all over the state of California and hopefully in some of these other states because we do the civic engagement work, getting people registered to vote, making sure that they vote. And also we do health issues and the consciousness raising, youth issues also, what kind of organizing our youth. So if you want to support the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and I know you're supporting this organization, which of course tonight is number one, but if you have some change left over, you can send it to DoloresHuerta.org, DoloresHuerta.org. And then, as I said before, we'll all work together to make it happen. So I'm just going to do a couple of chants so that I want all of you to join me in, all right? Okay. So the first one, of course, we've got to say a great big old Viva. Can you do that? Say Viva. Viva. Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to say Viva CLCV. Everybody shout Viva, okay? Viva CLCV. Viva. Okay. Viva the environmental movement! Viva! Viva the labor movement! Viva! Viva the LGBTQ movement, right? Viva! Viva the immigrant rights movement! Viva! Okay, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Thinking of the people that we have to defeat in November, I'm going to ask you, who's got the power? Okay, and then I want you to say, we've got the power, okay? And then I'm going to ask you, what kind of power? And I want you to say people power. All right? Okay, let's go. Who's got the power? We got the power! What kind of power? People power! Let's do that one more time, but I want it to be even louder. Really, really loud. Who's got the power? We got the power! What kind of power? People power! Okay, so can we go out there and defeat in November those people who were anti-environment, okay, anti our other movements, and I'm going to teach you in Spanish. If you don't know this already, we're going to say, yes, we can. Remember Obama used that? And when he gave me the Medal of Freedom, he said, I stole your slogan. I told him, yes, you did. And for those of you that don't know, I want you to know that I came up with the slogan, not Cesar. Okay. So I'm going to ask you all to put your hands up together like this. We're going to do an organized unity clap. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Tonight, after you go home and you reflect on this beautiful evening, I want you to, if you meditate or you pray or just send up a thought for Cesar Chavez's widow, Helen, who passed away a couple of days ago, and they're going to be having her services this weekend. Helen was a great woman, very, very strong. I always like to say Cesar Chavez only feared two beings, God and Helen. And she was always very private, behind the scenes. She hated publicity, hated to have her picture taken, didn't like to be in public, but she was the rock and the foundation of the United Farm Workers, Helen Chavez. So just remember her in your prayers, in your meditations, in your thoughts, okay? Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Sí se puede. Thank you very much.
To their fantastic honorees, our presenters, our sponsors, and thank you all for joining us tonight to celebrate the leaders of California's environmental movement. Thank you all for coming tonight. We'd like to ask all of the honorees and the presenters to come up for a final photo opportunity and stick around and have some more drinks and some more food. Thank you.